mentioning presidents and senators and Hank Aaron, and I got to Hank Aaron, he's like, okay. We're good, because I was going to take it somewhere else, and I figured, I said HBO or somebody. Somebody, I'm sure, is going to take this, Teddy.
And by the way, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. 100%. Not one negative review. What's the spiritual say? Not a mumbling word.
And it's amazing because, you know, the internet is where he lives, right? Yeah. So I'm reading the comments. I'm going all the way down on the comments. I'm like, because there's, you know, somebody's like, oh, I don't read reviews. I read reviews. I ain't gonna lie. And literally everyone loves the film, is touched by the film. And, you know, a lot of people said some really wonderful things. They said, Reggie, I laughed, I cried, I learned shit. and which was really nice. And then somebody said, you know what it is, Reggie? I said, I don't know. What is it? They said, it's the new 48 Laws of Power. Right. Which I thought, wow, that's a... Because people now want to say, oh, that's the new highest level. Can you avant?
That's great. That's great. So he becomes an adjective and a metaphor.
Indeed.
You can't beat that.
And instantly a part of Black history, because this is the story that hasn't been told.
Yes, absolutely. And that leads me to this question. So, in a sense, the greatest moment in history of our people was the election of Barack Obama. I mean, the moment that we thought would never happen. And then he's out of office, and we've seen what's happened since he's out of office. This is like a B-zombie movie, ladies and gentlemen. And we thought that shit was dead. And it is coming out of the bowels of the earth. So we need this film now. We need this film now. Did you make it because you knew we needed this film now? Why make this film now? What was behind the timing?
It had to be. And it was just a matter of waiting on the green light. So once Nicole got Clarence on board, and Nicole called me and said, it's on. And it's like, oh, this is a papal order. This is a call from the Vatican. Let's go. Because, you know, for all of us, for whom Clarence meant the world to us. And he could not leave us without us capturing his story. And this, I mean, Clarence is retired. I'm just saying that preemptively because all the people are like, yo, can you introduce me to Clarence? I need a lunch with him. No. He's 88. There's no hookups. The movie is Clarence's final gift to us. This is him telling all the secrets, him telling the story and giving you the blueprint for your life. Because if he can do it with a 9th grade education from Climax, North Carolina, I know all these smart folks can do it.
All right, well, Nicole, wait. But what he said begs the question, which is on the mind of everybody in this auditorium. How did you persuade your father to agree to allow you to make this film? Was it about the numbers? Or?
It's a twofold answer. I didn't ask him for permission. I learned that from him. I went to him and I said, Daddy, I'm going to make a film about you. He said, what? I said, I'm going to make a film about you, and here's the beauty, that you don't get to say yes or no because it's a documentary. And so the only thing is, I can't tell your whole story without you. So if you want me to tell the story without you, it'll do okay, because he's so competitive. So I said, it'll do okay, it might get like a C or so, maybe average. And he said, okay, what if I'm in it? Well, if you're in it, then, I'm sure it'll be great because you have such a great personality and you're funny and you're quirky and you're so complex, it's perfect for a film. And I don't think he believed it was going to happen. And then I knew, see, as Reggie mentioned, he's known my father for a very long time. And as you've seen in the film, my father's not trying to be nice, but he's not the most open person. He doesn't just welcome me in like this. So I knew any filmmaker just wasn't going to do. I knew that any filmmaker coming in, no matter how great they could be or what have you, I knew it had to be a great filmmaker, but I needed the icing on the cake, which was Reggie, somebody who knew him, somebody who my father felt that he could trust, who he could be intimate with, who he could be vulnerable with if he was going to give him that. And that's how, really, Reggie's the one who was able to pull everything that you saw out of him. I didn't even go to a lot of the interviews that my dad was a part of because I knew it would just be too much. So I think, so he just, and then of course, there's one question, guess what do you think it was? Yes. How much are you paying me? I said, it's a documentary. You don't get paid for documentaries. And then, but he was excited. I think he was excited because he was 85 at the time. And he knew that, I was starting to, close his, think about him retiring and closing his businesses, his publishing companies. And, he's getting tired. He's 88. And I thought this is the right time. Because remember, I've been thinking about this movie since I was 8 years old. The Hank Aaron story is really what stayed in my mind when I was a little girl. And I thought, somebody needs to make a movie about Uncle Hank. Wait a minute. Somebody needs to talk about Hank Aaron. And then Andrew Young would tell his stories. And then everyone, as a young girl, everyone would tell me their stories and share their stories. And so I just started making a film.
How did you, go ahead, Reggie.
Well, I just want to say, I think there's some of the subjects that are in the house tonight. I think Suzanne DePass is here.
Yes, she is. Suzanne DePass is here.
There she is.
By the way, an old Vineyard family. Veteran of the...
And here's the thing, because this is a movie where legends talk about legends, and Suzanne absolutely fits in that category. And there's legends, and then there's titans.
Yes.
Is Mr. Hank Aaron in the house?
I don't know if he was able to make it. He didn't make it.
He was here earlier.
He was here earlier.
I'm sorry. Just drive around the venue.
Gwen is here. Where's Gwen? Gwen Adolph. Where's Gwen? There she is.
Gwen,
When is the book coming out? When's the biography coming out?
Gwen and I are working on that.
All right, let me ask you this. You mentioned Hank Aaron. I loved the narrative structure. And the double helix, of course, is Hank Aaron and Bill Withers. How did you arrive at that structure?
Well, again, it's funny because when you said Hank was the tipping point. Same for me. When I heard the Hank Aaron story, it was like, well, that has to be told. And I would, I've been telling it badly ever since I heard it because it's such a spectacular story. Because, when Clarence walked into this man's desk and just came all up on the desk. So it's like, no, this is my desk now. Like, he took the physical space. And then he didn't say hello. Right? He just went hard. So that just lets you know the tone of the negotiation. If I'm going to start saying nigga, you can imagine how this is going to go. So I just said, well, that has to be told. It's spectacular. And, with Bill Withers, it's such an extraordinary relationship. The fact that Bill, like many genius artists, got passed over by everybody. Yeah. But Clarence had the ear to hear who he was. And these two unlikely men had this beautiful, complicated, long relationship. Yeah. And, that's extraordinary. But for me, look, there's so many, the fact that he cold called Andy Young. Just a cold call. And Andy explained, well, back then they weren't layers. You didn't call the secretary. You rang, you just answered the phone. And, some crazy man is calling you saying he's going to give you money. It didn't make any sense. I mean, so all those stories are so beautiful and moving to me. And it's also, it's a journey through institutions. It's a journey through Soul Train and Ebony Magazine. And, you know, all the record labels we built, you know, the NWC, all these institutions get celebrated in this movie.
No, it shows that he's a fundamental element in contemporary African-American history. Political history, social history, and cultural history.
Right.
And he was the silent How did you get two presidents of the United States to agree to be in this documentary film?